What's up, everybody? Welcome back to FNG Academy. I just had a quick announcement. I'm proud to say that we've been helping people get selected for 3 years now. I've been getting a lot of messages about people thanking us and saying that they just graduated from selection and they got selected. People graduating the Q course. One of my buddies just sent me a video from the Charlie committee. He asked, if you guys have ever heard of the FNG Academy, raise your hands. And all their hands went up, and it just filled me with pride. So part of the way that we do that is making sure that you guys are physically fit and ready for selection. And the way we've been doing that for the past couple of years is by sending you to a Green Beret we know and trust, Kevin over at 18 Alpha Fitness. So if you want to get selected, you need to be in the best shape possible, and you need a programmer who knows what they're talking about. So go check out Kevin over at 18 Alpha Fitness. Use code word BUCK to get a discount. Tell him we sent you and hook you up. Congrats to everyone who's been getting selected lately, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
I'm gonna siege your ville of Jadot. I'm gonna invade your Jadot.
Nice fake enthusiasm. You need a beer.
Well, we know that's not happening, so why don't you just take my...
Why are you so adamant? Just have one.
I don't want to. I've had enough. Let me detox. Let me get back on my grind, bro. Let me be healthy for a little bit. God, in case you guys know what it's like to stop drinking around this.
Just take one shot to loosen up a little bit and then stop.
I don't want to. I'm loose.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
You saying I'm tight?
Yep. It's just not a funny joke because you're fucking tight. It's like, why can't you just have one beer to loosen you up for the show?
I don't want to. Everybody out there fighting that peer pressure, keep fighting. You don't need to give into that crap.
Don't bullshit. It's just because you went to fucking Brazil and drank your face off. While I was at home not drinking. He was a sober little bitch.
I am sober.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Beers and Breakdowns. Now, before I have to subject you to any more of Abel's excuses as to why he's only drinking water today, which nobody wants to hear, let's get started with this episode. We have actually a banger for you today. You guys have been recommending this movie for a long time. Siege of Jadotville.
Which is a crazy story.
Badass.
Insane.
Super cool movie. I loved it. I've unfortunately been doing a string of Negative Nancy movies where we're kind of shitting on them, but you know what? We got a string of positive ones out.
Snap your streak today?
Huh?
Snap your streak today?
Snap my streak. Everyone's calling me Mr. Negative.
We got him some happy dads today, so he's just a little more chipper. Turn that frown upside down, if you will.
I like happy dads. I think they're delicious.
But this is insane. This is crazy to see, especially from a civilian perspective, how... Like, I don't know anything about tactics or anything like that, but it's nuts how such a small amount of armed forces can use strategy and take out such a larger number of opponents, which is just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when your life is literally on the line. I mean, you don't have that many to lose. If they actually do get in and overwhelm you, you're just kind of done.
You'd be screwed. So let's jump right into the first scene of Siege of Jadotville. Oh, and if you guys want to support the channel, we appreciate that. Your opportunity to do so is at Patreon. We have a Patreon /FNGacademy.com, or you could just Google FNG Academy Team Room. The Team Room has a ton of videos to help you guys get selected, just support to help you guys get selected if that's what you're...
I'm going to show this.
Huh?
Just because he's talking shit the whole beginning of this video. Yeah, I'm going to show all these mistakes.
If you want to support the channel, go check out our Patreon. There, I'll just leave it at that.
If you guys would like to support my sobriety, there's a link down below. Save Abel. Just click on it. Just donate a couple of dollars.
Save you from yourself, bro. The only reason you're having a sobriety thing is because you overdrink in Brazil.
Why are you talking to me right now?
This is what happens when you stop drinking. You turn a little... All right. So
rude.
Let's jump into the first scene. I don't even know if I finished the Patreon.
I don't know what you did.
I don't even know where I ended up with it.
You're gorgeous. Calling it a compound is a joke. We got exposure on 3 approaches. Overlooked from the south. There's a road splitting it in 2. We're wide open. Okay.
So when I first watched this, instantly, before the sergeant walked up and started giving a security breakdown on the compound,
yeah,
I was like, oof, security issues, right? Like you're in a new compound, you're not doing a left seat, right seat, which in Afghanistan or something, Green Berets would be going and switching off with other Green Berets. So we'd be like, hey guys, we already thought of security, but this is what we got. This is our base defense plan. This is our egress plan. This is all the security plans we have in place. If you want to change that, whatever, that's up to you guys. But you're working with a built-in good plan from highly capable people already. But anytime you're going in, you're the first ones in. So the first Green Berets in, they're the ones that have to initially think of the base defense plan and think of all the areas that they're vulnerable. And so as soon as I saw the scene, I was like, oh shit, that tree line is just absolutely a horrible, horrible thing to have out there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you have this huge open field, and as we all know, people could hide in tree lines. With that much distance, you're barely, if at all, going to be able to see the people in those tree lines. It's just a huge security compromise. So we have to do something about it. And then before I could even finish that thought, the sergeant walks up giving the defense, like, hey, this is bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this movie's on it. This guy's Johnny on the spot. While the guys are settling in, he doesn't even go find his hooch. He immediately sends his sergeant out to do a base defense walk around and find the weak points and give them a rundown on security.
So you think that's obviously they're thinking of this stuff and they're just being very strict and they're kind of taking care of business. Is there a lot of people in the military that would just fuck it off and not even look?
Of course. You have every reason. You have every excuse to not. You're on a peacekeeping mission.
Right.
Your rules of engagement are like, don't do anything. Don't
Yeah.
even use your weapon systems. Like, just chill. You're just there as peacekeepers. So it lays the groundwork for anybody to be able to walk in and be super relaxed and let their guard down. And this individual is like, fuck that. I don't care what the mission is. We're here. We're going to be safe. And immediately gets to work on a base defense plan.
That's gangster.
It is gangster. It's exactly what you should do as a leader.
Sir, where's the best bar in town?
At the end of the street.
I don't think you'll find any of the bars here to your liking.
Why is that?
I don't mean to be rude, but you do know that you're not welcome here, don't you? I'll take one of these. The people around here are not particularly happy with how things are working out.
So this to me is like some Green Beret type stuff. Like, you've identified your weaknesses on your camp, water supplies, ammo supplies, and the first thing you do is get your boys up in the vehicles and you hit the town to go fix that problem.
Yeah.
We've identified an issue. Let's go fix it. Let's go to the town, collect up some water, collect up some food, collect up more rations, so because they're short on all supplies,
Right.
and start figuring it out. And then he's doing an intel gathering when she offers up, they don't like you here, right? And he's like, tell me more.
But all right.
I'm like, cool. Like, tell me what's going on. He's getting it. He's not like, yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
He's
Listening.
He's
Yeah.
listening. He's putting his finger on the pulse to figure out what kind of operational environment they're really in.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter what the intel says. The only thing that really matters is boots on the ground, what you figure out when you're there. So, like, everything up to this point so far is just tactically it's perfect. This is an ODA. Like, if an ODA got to a base like this, first thing, base defense.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we've done base defense. We've identified our weaknesses. How do we solve some of those issues? We're short on supplies. Food and water is going to be more important than anything else at this point. So there's a town nearby. Let's jump in the vehicles, go collect food and water.
Case study on how not having an ego can really save you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never liked Rome. Not many Frenchmen like German tacticians. It took them 2 weeks to take over your entire country.
Ouch.
Work your men too hard, I think. All of this digging. Nobody else felt the need to dig trenches.
All right, so super telling, right? They go to the bar. There's mercenaries in there, French mercenaries, and the Frenchman is essentially trying to out alpha male the commander.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, drink with me," and then he pours another drink and pours another drink. He's trying to find his weaknesses, and then his ego kind of gets involved, and he becomes very telling. And he's like, "No one else is feeling the need to dig trenches," so he's letting him know, "We're watching you.
Yeah.
We see what you're doing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, we see the fact that you're digging trenches. We're clearly watching you for a reason."
Yeah.
And so that's very telling for the commander. It's like, okay, they're watching us, and they don't like the fact that we're digging trenches. Well, that's only could be for one reason. It's like they don't like the fact that we're getting more of a tactical advantage.
Right.
So it's just a very telling experience that they have in the town, and then in the bar running into the Frenchman. And then he shows them kind of his willingness to combat him, even in the conversation when he dogs his entire country by saying, you know, Frenchmen don't like German tactics. It took them 2 weeks to take over your whole country. So first they're going to have their intellectual battle to feel each other out, and then we'll get to them having an actual gnarly battle later on, to where the commander uses tactics to just wipe the fucking floor with this guy. And if you look at the numbers versus how many Irishmen they had versus how many of those guys got killed, it's insane. And the fact that they had to keep coming in, basically until the Irishmen ran out of bullets. 1,500, dude. Up to, it was
1250 to 1,500 people died on their side.
2,500 wounded.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
And they had 5 wounded on the Irish side, and no
no
deaths.
casualties, 5 wounded on the Irish side. 50% of the enemy force was wounded.
Fuck.
Like, they whooped y'all's ass,
Yeah,
bro. They whooped your ass.
Use cover! Get out!
Did he shoot his gun?
It looked like it hit his gun, yeah. He was the first wounded, so it's kind of a...
Fuck! Ready? Magazine! Quinlan doesn't know what he's done. He's gonna get us killed.
This is just a perfect example of good tactics versus no tactics. Essentially, the mercenaries are like, we have the numbers, so we could just walk up on them.
Just move in.
Like, bro, middle of the day, right down the middle? The fuck?
The fatal funnel themselves?
You didn't use any tactics. You didn't split your forces. You just walked right in the middle. Essentially, they likely thought the Irishmen were just going to see the number that they had and surrender.
Right.
And so when that didn't happen, they were just caught with their pants down and had to retreat despite having massive overpowering, like massive more people. I don't know how to say it. Words. Like,
who knows?
Despise fucking words, dude. The English language is kicking my ass right now.
I think the Jameson's kicking your ass.
Despite just like overpowering them 10-1, don't quote me on that math. Like, they just tried to walk it right down the middle. And it's like, dude, you knew they dug trenches.
Yeah.
You confronted him about the trenches they dug. Mind you, those trenches were the single most genius thing he could have done, because it changed the entire landscape of their ability to shoot, move, and communicate. From those trenches, they had a safety net that pushed out their line of security way past that building. If they were stuck inside that building, which if those trenches didn't exist, the only cover and concealment they would have had were the buildings.
Right.
And the angles, because remember that shooting and tactics is about angles. So the angles that they have from that building would have been so narrow that their capability to cover all angles would have been severely limited, and then that force could easily move in from a blind spot and overwhelm them with CQB like that.
All they have is windows.
All they have is the windows, and then, you know, sections of their place that are of brick, so they could actually have some cover. So the trenches absolutely saved them and kept them in the fight. But the fact that the mercenaries just ran it right down the middle of the day, it's like, dude, come on, man.
Cocky. Oh, yeah.
They're coming! Get ready for it!
Fucking tree line, dude.
Colonel Sanders?
So Colonel Sanders ends up getting smoked by the sniper, which was a genius move. Again, it's another tactics. It's a smart move on the commander's part too. It's like, that guy looks different.
Nah.
Let's take him out.
Like a brain?
Huh?
Like a brain or somebody
Yeah, I
behind
mean,
everything?
he's the one that's funding the mercenaries.
Oh, okay.
In order to protect the oil fields. So it's like they took him out and it ended the battle for that siege. It ended that push.
Okay.
And then they had to go back and reset and figure out, like, are we still going to get paid?
Yeah.
You know, it's like no one wants to die for free. These guys, you know, so it's like,
What kind of fucking moron would go down there?
right, dressed in all white like that. And that's something they used to tell us in SEER school is like, special people get special treatment.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the last thing you want to do is to identify yourself as special. So anytime we're going out with our counterparts, host nation force, or the Afghans, the commandos, we're dressing in whatever fatigues that they're wearing. We want to match them as much as we possibly can, which is hard to do because of the unique kit that we wear. But the least we could do is wear matching fatigues.
Yeah.
It's like, so that way we blend in as much as possible. And this is like the harsh example of why. He stands out looking like Colonel Sanders in the middle of like
The fucking desert?
middle of the desert, like he's so obvious, and then he gets sniped in the chest and killed. So
Yeah, good.
don't do that. Another thing is that these guys didn't have mortars. They had mortars that had 60s, but they didn't have the 81s. Mm-hmm. And so a 60 is a hand fire, small mortar system. Yeah, I used to love the 60. It's really fun. So you could drop fire it or you could trigger fire it.
Okay.
And you just kind of aim it and shoot. But the explosion is not nearly as big as an 81. An 81 is a much bigger round. But if they had the ammunition for the 81s, they could have preset that tree line just as those guys start pushing past and have all of those preset with all their rounds lined up ready to go.
So they can start firing and
Yeah,
be
so
at
as
range?
soon as they start pushing, they could start launching 81s at all the preset fire positions, and it would just completely destroy that open area that the mercenaries would have to push past. So the 81s would have absolutely been clutch. And of course, they didn't have the ammo, and they couldn't get the ammo for it.
Right.
So now you got guys fighting with 9mm weapon systems,
That's crazy.
assault rifle. It's like, dude, or submachine guns is like, bro, a 9mm? Like, you're just doing the best you can with what you have.
It's like headshot or bust on that, right?
It's just not going to go very far.
Okay.
So like the max effective range of a 9mm is a lot smaller than 5.56. The accuracy of a 9mm is a lot shittier than 5.56. When you have an automatic 9mm weapon system, you're running out of ammo like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a grease gun, MP5s, if you have a fully auto MP5, that's like a full magazine for a 9mm is like, and you dumped your whole mag. So just being in a gunfight and your only weapon system is 9mm sucks.
Max amount of disadvantage.
Yeah. So it's just bad on bad on bad for them, but they do a great job with what they got. They do a great job, period, especially with what they have.
Yeah, composure, man.
Boss! Boss! It's a trap! No! Open fire!
All right, pause. Dude, from the mercenaries' point of view, like that was one of the first really smart tactical decisions that they did. As they negotiated a ceasefire in order to collect their dead. They bring in the ambulances, and then as they're pulling out the litters to collect the dead, they're pulling out mortar parts on the litters and then setting up mortar systems to start attacking them with mortars. Pretty genius. Confusing a little bit. Obviously, the movie's not going to explain like distances
Right.
from the tree line and why they couldn't set mortars up behind the tree line. I'm assuming that the tree line extended far enough to where it put the mortars out of range.
Right.
And that way, the only way to get mortars within range is to go in the tree line in the open field, where they would have to come up with a plan in order to do that without getting shot. Because otherwise, if that tree line was pretty narrow, they could just go behind. I mean, 81 with max cheese charges could shoot pretty damn far. So,
And those are 81s?
yeah, I'm pretty sure. They're probably not 81s. They're probably like the Russian equivalent.
But
of an
they're
80.
bigger.
But yeah, they're a larger round. I think the Russians, it's like an 80 or something like that. It's just a different mortar system than we use, but it's it's a similar size round.
Okay.
And similar size distances in 81 if it's not an 81. But that was just a genius tactical move,
That was. Yeah, that's smart.
especially if you just have no morals and you're just like, yeah, ceasefire.
Would you like to say a few words?
Just eat it.
Poison the water. Take whatever you can from the barrels. Somebody else left out now.
Cooley, get more buckets.
Yes, sir.
So once again, it's a shitty tactic, but it's smart. They poison the water.
That was the petrol drums.
No,
that was different.
No, that was the UN supplied water.
Oh, okay.
That they used petrol, so it was unusable.
Double
This
point.
one was the mercenaries poisoning the water supply to the Irishmen.
Oh, okay.
And the only way they found out, and I don't know how true this is, and how accurate this is, but how lucky did they get that a hyena just drank out of the dripping water and then died from the poison
Like before they did?
before they did.
Oh, shit.
So according to this, I don't know, like if they're just that lucky, the hyena drank the water and died, and then identified that the water had been poisoned before any of the soldiers had drank the water.
Well, I mean, so long as you account that none of the Irish died at all, then it has to be true, right?
Right. It's just crazy. That's a little crazy to me. But I guess what does make sense is that they had the barrels full of water set aside, so they could have a long supply of water that they didn't need the fresh water at the time, which I'm not sure, again, why you have barrels full of water separate from a current water supply, unless you were anticipating the potential for them to poison your water.
Which is some seriously gangster shit if you like went that far ahead.
Yeah, and thought about literally everything.
Yeah.
Because you would have to even, I wouldn't even know, like, where does that pipe run to for them to be able to just access it? And then what kind of poison would you use?
I don't know. And it can't be only poisoning that specific spot, right? You're also probably going to hurt a lot of other people.
Yeah, wherever that
the water supply
system
can't only go to this one building, right? Nobody's going to make a whole water supply unless it's a well water supply, but that's crazy. I'd have gotten everybody killed. I'm sorry to say, but everyone would have been dead the first day if I was the commander of that fucking thing. I would have been like, it's where's the whiskey and where's my chair?
What do you mean?
Like, that's what I would have done the first day I arrived at that that spot.
If you're the Irishman.
Yeah, if I'm the Irishman, I would have been like, everybody just kick it, we're just going to hang out.
Wait for Alamo and then fight at the last
Fucking
second.
long-standing water in case it gets poisoned. Get the fuck out of here. I wouldn't have thought of shit.
Yeah, dude, he was gangster, bro. Because looking at it, it's like he should have just been chilling.
Yeah.
Hold! Hold! Wait for it! Yes, no!
Oof. So what's really cool about using that kind of last ditch effort Alamo explosion is that he took it one step further and collected all the brass that they had fired and then planted that in the explosives.
So shrapnel?
To get as much shrapnel as they can, to take out as many people as they can. I thought, wow, damn, that was another genius tactic.
Yep.
And then to wait for them to get as close as possible not only makes the explosives as effective as possible, but now you have all those fighters as close to you as possible. So now you could pick up their weapon systems and start collecting their ammunition in order to use it. And I was like, I bet they didn't think about that in the movie. Maybe I got them there. And no, I didn't, because they started grabbing their weapon systems. It's like, damn, this movie got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you already know that these guys did an amazing job tactically because they survived and killed that many people. But damn, I was hoping the movie missed something so I could be like, nah, they got that too. They were collecting up the bad guys' weapons. So it's like, fuck, these guys are awesome. They got everything. So it's just, man, it's just like thinking outside the box and then using your intelligence to outsmart them.
Yeah.
And that may be easier to do when you're fighting a larger force because they're overconfident that they could just take you over with their numbers.
Right. It's shot well too. That's another thing.
Yeah, it's just a really good damn movie.
It looks dirty. Other people, like, what was that one stupid one that we saw? Hyena Road.
Hyena Road's terrible.
Can seriously, what's great? It was a shitty movie, but they could seriously take something from this.
Yeah,
it looks dirty. It looks grimy. It's like
it feels real. It feels like every bullet being fired at them counts and matters, and they really don't want to get shot. So not only is it tactically amazing, the movie's just really damn good. The true story is really damn good, and the fact that those guys were viewed as cowards for giving up at the end, for surrendering, which is fucking ridiculous. Because, like, listen, I'm either 100% going to die because I'm out of ammo or out of water, or we could surrender. This isn't ISIS. This isn't the Taliban. We're not going to get, like, burned inside of a fucking cage and put on Al Jazeera or Al Jazeera. So we're going to get put in a prison cell.
Yeah.
So why not live to fight another day? It doesn't make sense as to why you wouldn't surrender when death is imminent and there's no chance at continuing to fight.
Yeah.
So to be called cowards is just absolutely ridiculous. And then what happened? They only spent 2 weeks in prison. And what did they do when they got out of prison? They went back to war. So they literally lived to fight another day and went back to continue to use that combat experience to further protect their brethren and, like, their country and fight for their country. And it's just crazy to me. Like, I'm having trouble fucking articulating it, but it just bothers me that you put them down as Irishmen and say that they're not brave when it's like they lived to fight again and then literally went to fight again.
Yeah, but I think it's a different time, and the stream of information is very tricky back then. Whatever showed up as information was information. You don't have cell phones flying around. You don't have, opposing ideas. It's just whatever they said or heard is true. So all they heard was you surrendered, right? You didn't win. So I'm sure all of this didn't translate before they showed up.
Yeah, it's easy to look back at the facts now that we have it.
Exactly.
And be like, wow, the fuck? And it's like, well, we didn't know. But hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Beers and Breakdowns. Thank you again. This whole last 3 or 4 has been recommended by you guys. We're just finding them in the comment section and checking them out. And this was an absolute win for me. What a great movie. What a great story. Very, very damn cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
I gotta poop.